Hello, I'm FPX Toycat, and crawling just came to Minecraft in the most recent Bedrock update, finally allowing all players, regardless of platform, to sneak into 1x1 block gaps. This seems fairly goofy on the surface, but it actually allows for much easier access to your end islands, as well as more efficient diamond mining, and even better access to your redstone trails. There are many ways that you can activate crawling in Minecraft, and some of those are very goofy, but first I'm going to answer the question that more YouTubers probably should, which is why should you care about this feature to begin with, and so that is what we're going to start today's video with. Hopefully you enjoy it, like or subscribe if you do, but the first and most valuable use is of course mob proofing. This is a standard door to access a house, and it works just fine, don't get me wrong, but if you want to make sure that no mobs follow you in, consider having a 1x1 door instead. This obviously previously worked with water or an elytra, but now using just a trapdoor or any of the other methods we'll show off later, you can slide into that hole and guarantee with 100% certainty that no mob bigger than that is going to be able to fit in, which is basically every naturally spawning hostile mob. Maybe a cave spawn, a cave spider, or maybe you'll get a vex in there, but realistically, you have now sealed off your house from not only all hostile mobs, but also from non-hostile mobs too. This is very, very handy if you don't want cows to get out of a pen, or if you don't want villagers to get out of somewhere very, very sensitive. You can use trapdoors and crawling to make sure that you and you alone can slide into a gap, and that is incredibly handy if you ask me. But it's not just useful for mob proofing, you can also use this technique to help you with your diamond mining, because when it comes to mining diamonds, there's basically one measure that matters above all else for determining how efficient a method is, and that is how many blocks do you have to mine to uncover how many more. Diamonds are around there somewhere, but to find those diamonds we obviously have to mine blocks, and the usual method when you're standing up straight is to mine 2 blocks, and for every 2 blocks you explore, you uncover 6 more. So right now, if I mine these 2 blocks, I uncovered this, and this, and basically that's 6 brand new blocks, which I can then mine the next 2 to uncover 6 brand new blocks, plus the 2 in front of that as well, so for 8 brand new total ones. However, if you are mining in a straight line, 1x1, you actually mine even more efficiently than 8 blocks discovered for every 2 blocks that you mine, because let me show you what that looks like instead in a side-by-side basis. So we'll go over here just to make sure they're entirely brand new blocks, and let's go now mining in a 1x1 level. So bear in mind that every block we're breaking now reveals not just the, we don't have to break 2 blocks to uncover 8, we break 1 block and uncover the floor, the left, the top, the right, and the one behind that, meaning we're discovering 5 brand new blocks for every one that we mine. This is an efficiency improvement of 25%, and the only crucial factor is you need to be able to mine or crawl as fast as you can mine, which means that when you get to the most efficient pickaxes with beacons, maybe you'd want to be standing up again, but if you just want to uncover the most diamonds in the fastest amount of time possible, technically the best way is to do this. It sort of was before, but activating crawling was a little bit messy to say the least, but now using trapdoors, pistons, or any of the other mechanisms we'll show off later, you can mine for diamonds very, very easily, and indeed, I'm working on getting 3,000 diamonds right now. Clearly, instead of making a 4 or 5 or 3 high tunnel, I can just make a bunch of these, because if you want, you can also stagger them in really weird ways. So I can have my brick block go over here, place one just up there, and now I can mine just up to the side in a really interesting way, and if you want, you can take full advantage of this, making much more deep and interesting tunnels, or use these for the side branches of your main tunnel if you still want to have an accessible path through. It is up to you what you do, but for something which is a little bit more subjective in terms of its value, let me show you one of the weirdest things about crawling, which not everyone knows, which is that you can crawl over blocks as high as a daylight sensor. This means that you can make secret entrances that really looks like no one should be able to get through them, but you can do precisely that. So right here, I'm going to lay down a daylight sensor, and then on my update block, which is an iron door that got broken during the conversion to Bedrock, I can now climb through and on top of this. This allows me to make very, very tight gaps that I can fit through. It breaks the camera if I try to show you in third person, but look at that gap. You don't think that a player should be able to fit through here, and no one's going to be looking at a gap in the wall like this and think, yeah, I should crawl through that, but you can make this a secret entrance to your base. Again, right now I've made this one kind of obvious because it's in the bank of Toycat, but you can make this on the side of a wall somewhere. So if we go to the roof, for example, we can make this kind of hidden away, and so if you want to make it so the secret, I guess this would be a secret exit, not an entrance, but you could do precisely this by just having a simple trapdoor there, and then making it so you have to climb in a way that no one is going to assume is actually an entrance. If you wanted to, you could use that block up there as a way to get inside of the base without breaking anything, which is ridiculous, but is entirely true. Secret entrances can be used used for all sorts of things, and if you wanted to, you could also make like a secret set of tunnels. So imagine this, for example, this wall, this big mountain right here. I could make a really long set of secret tunnels, and people would have to, go through them if they wanted to find anything. So just, kind of like the, okay, so kind of like previously I showed you of the mining for diamonds. If you wanted, you could use that to make a big 1x1 maze, which just feels satisfying to explore in this weird format. Unlike normally, where you're just kind of, I feel like regular Minecraft mazes are played out. Crawling Minecraft mazes feel really claustrophobic in a way that just makes you want to do them, which is counterintuitive, but in Minecraft, you do things that you don't get to do in the real world, because this is the game where no one can tell you what you can and cannot do, not even the Minecraft police. There isn't even a Minecraft police, unless Mojang happens to post an image on their changelog, which is actually from a mod and not from the game itself, which totally happened yesterday, fun fact. But yeah, anyway, speaking of Minecraft police, those first 3 uses are incredibly handy and probably useful for most people, but for me, the next 2 are the ones I'm personally going to be using in super large quantities. One of these is so handy when working on redstone, because usually when you're doing redstone stuff, it's not incredibly complex, but you do want it to be hidden in a nice way. So let's have a really nice simple setup here, and imagine that we want to have a stone pressure plate that when we walk through this tunnel, activates some nice redstone lamps over here to light up that this is the way that we're going. So we'll have a redstone lamp go over, like, I don't know, here, and or maybe even let's go like a block low. We'll have a redstone lamp that goes in there, and or maybe just the floor. We want to just have some redstone lamps, some activation, some simple transmission of a redstone signal. However, getting the redstone to these lamps is a pain, because what do you have to do? Well, if I want to have this go below an existing pathway, what I'd need to do is I'd need to like mine down there, so that's entirely doable, and then I'd need to mine in a 1x1 block gap, because I need the redstone to go directly below that pressure plate. I can't mine in a 2 block high gap, because then if I did that, the redstone wouldn't be touched at all. And so what the pain of this is trying to make one of these redstone paths. However, with crawling, thank God, what we can just do is lay down one of these trapdoors, and now if we want to make this redstone pathway work, we can place the redstone as we're going right below our existing pathway. What a game changer. Again, I never pretend I'm the biggest redstone person in the world, but even for the most average Minecraft redstone user, this is a life-changing feature, and I'm not sure if I've got enough redstone here to do this, but I'm hoping that by the time I hit the big wall there, that means I'm now 1 block away, right? Or 2 blocks away. Where are the redstone lamps? They're just up there. So now all we have to do is split this up into 2 by having a dirt block go there and a dirt block go there. And now, just like that, we have activated. Okay, so now we go in, we go down, we do the same over there. We have now worked out a way to do that whole pathway without any of the pain that just came with it. Also, we can do this while standing up in these tiny gaps, like I just said. It's so handy. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I have a very simple piece of redstone that didn't take me a lot of heartache and pain and all that sort of stuff. And even if I want to be sneaky about it, I can use the trapdoor to help me back up there. Wow, look at that. I don't think it does go far enough. I think I need a repeater in there somewhere. But the idea is really simple, right? I think. If you don't do it too long, that is. Just in case you're curious, it was very obvious as soon as I got here and moved one of the blocks. All I have to do is move the redstone lamp, because right now the redstone is pointing there instead of over there. But yeah, now we can have that redstone lamp go nice and flush, and okay, we're going down. Anyway, the idea here is very simple. Flush redstone that you can't see, which to me is the point. Redstone that looks like magic is some of the fun. It's very easy to do with this simple little change. But also, the other one I really love is when it comes to the end. I hate going through end gateways, but after 1.20.30, no longer do I have to stress on how I'm going to fly in there or throw an ender pearl just right, or even if we're lucky, we can use swimming to do so. Instead, here is the simple solution we can use now. We can just make a nice easy ladder up. We would ideally go a block or 2 in front of the thing, so let's make a nice ladder up out of the closest block we have to the bedrock that exists right there, which right now is going to have to be deep slate, I think. Useful to learn for my recent project. But then what we can do is we can climb to the top of the ladder, and oh, that was not expected. When you climb to the top of the ladder, sometimes it just puts you right in there. But yeah, you can climb to the top of the ladder, and then if it doesn't work for you that way, or if you can't just fly right in like this, what you could also do is you could consider setting up a very tiny platform right here, and then having a piston be just above you. That piston is another one of these ways that you can activate, your sneaking, because while that piston is pushing down on top of you, you will be forced down to the crawling layer, which means I can walk straight in there. And so this is very, very handy in my opinion. So many new ways to access your Endy 8-way. Oh, that is scary where that teleported me to. I know my end is a very abnormal one, but the fact that you can get around it so easy is going to be a big game changer, and maybe, just maybe, I'll start using end gateways because I did deliberately spawn all of them in my Let's Play, and that is something I absolutely love. But yeah, if you looked at the piston thing and you were surprised, maybe you'll be interested to learn that there's almost a dozen ways that you can activate crawling in Minecraft, and so how about we switch away from our Let's Play world to show you some of those, because I guarantee at least one of them will surprise you. So for a quick part 2 of the video, here are the fun ways that you can activate crawling in Minecraft. I have myself the 3 obvious ways. I'm just going to show you quickly. Any trapdoor, everyone knows that. Everyone also knows that you can use swimming as a way to activate sneaking, meaning if you swim into a 1x1 block gap, you can do this. This used to be the only way that you could crawl, and it wasn't true crawling, it was kind of like swimming, but obviously in a 1x1 space. But now this is a way that you can activate crawling specifically, and then obviously, like I just showed off, a piston or a sticky piston. I love that it can be a regular piston because I have far too many of those sitting around my world, but you can use a sticky piston too. The ones that you might not expect are shulker boxes. So if you use a shulker box which is facing downwards and you're standing below it, it forces you into the sneaking position usually until it uncloses, at which point this happens, and so that is very interesting. However, if you were already sneaking underneath a shulker box because you're on a slab, that means that when you open it, it will force you into the crawling position, which is a really, really goofy one if you ask me. So this is standing, this is sneaking, and then you can crawl underneath that. Very, very interesting things that shulkers can do. Also, one of the easiest ones is fence gates. Activate a fence gate in front of you and you'll crawl below it because you can't stand in a fence gate. Also, wow, yeah, I didn't know you could jump while crawling. That is... You can fly while crawling as well. This is insane. This is ridiculous, but it's a thing that exists. Yeah, the other one that is maybe interesting is you can ender pearl into a 1x1 block space. This is very, very, very interesting if you ask me, unless you get an endermite following you, but you can do this, and then also you can use an elytra as well. Also, while we're speaking about endgame items, having swift sneak leggings will be really handy for crawling faster. Sneaking is now not just sneaking, but it's also crawling, and then there are 2 ways that are meant to work, and they do on Java, but they do not work on Bedrock that I can find out. So one of these is if we have a boat which falls on top of our head. This is a really, really, really funny one if you ask me. Yeah, this is a boat that I'm going to place on top of my head, and despite that fact, this is what I've got set up, by the way, to show it off. So this is going to be a boat. There we go. Okay, so we place the boat over here, and now we're going to stand down here and try and crawl into this space, and sadly, despite the amusingness of having a boat full on your head slowly, what it does is it seems to just bounce off the top of you and then slide past. I don't know why that is. I really want it to force me into the crawl position, but it just does not. The other one that interestingly does not work is if we have a pig. What's meant to happen is, where did my pig go? Did he fall off and die? If we have a pig on a saddle, he's meant to be able to get you in a gap. However, my testing reveals you just appear on the block above it. And finally, the one which does work, even though it's so goofy and feels like it doesn't, is if you bone meal a tree and you're standing next to it, and it is a particular type of tree that grows with its leaves close to the ground, then that tree will obviously force you into crawling. So I'll try this one again until we get one. This tree is going to force me to crawl below its leaves, which is goofy, but yeah, if you're forced into a 1x1 space, now instead of suffocating, you start crawling instead, which I think is real fun. Speaking of things, well, actually, which means you can probably, okay, this is just me off the cuff trying this now. When you hear something and something comes to your mind and you're like, I shouldn't try it out, this is me entirely indulging that intrusive thought right now. So obviously gravel can force you into a gap, but usually the gravel would force down below you. But what if you had a string or something below you, and so when the gravel was placed, it wouldn't... it falls onto the string instead. But theoretically, if you could get someone to place a gravel and have it fall there in some meaningful way, then that would actually work. But sadly, not today. I guess you can use gravel as a way to sneak below it and then trap people who are crawling. But yeah, speaking of things you can trap people in, I'm going to trap you right now with a small little pitch to say, hey, if you're buying things on any console edition marketplace, I'm sure you've run into the issue of like trying to buy a game or something, and just the credit card details or the PayPal just isn't working in any easy way, and it's a pain to type it out on a keyboard. And so one of the solutions I recommend is just buying Amazon gift cards when you need to buy something. That is what I had to do the whole of the time I was in the US, and if you're looking to do it in basically any region, you can actually buy one of these and help out the channel as well. So click the Amazon link in the description, and you can get a, say a $50 gift card for $50 and also somehow help the channel. It's incredible and also easier, and something I would hope that you check out. But for now, I just want to say 1.20.30 was actually a pretty decent update. It's one of the biggest changelogs ever, and despite the weird controversies, they accidentally said everything was experimental, they accidentally used a mod image, I do think this is a good, big, medium monthly update, and I'm glad that people are enjoying it as much as I am. For now though, I hope you enjoyed this video, because I'll see you in my live stream later today. Thank you, goodbye.